calling the Board of Equalization meeting to order. First item is roll call. Mr. Brett Town.
Present.
Miss Eleanor Thompson.
Present.
And I'm Patrick Crowley, and I'm here. All right, number one is approval of minutes, discussion and possible action regarding approval of the minutes of June 27th, 28th. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 28th and 29th.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the minutes as stated in item 1 on the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next item, actually the next 4 items, I believe were all withdrawn.
Correct.
BOE number 142, BOE number 143, BOE number 144, and BOE number 145 were all withdrawn. Were any others?
I do not believe so. No.
All right, that brings us to number 6, BOE number 175. This is historic Dunbar School apartments. And Christopher Gladwell is the agent. And Shauna Smith somewhere in here in the mix. But anyway, this is vacant land plus a parking lot. 17,000 square feet. And they presented no evidence to counter what the assessor has done. So we have the assessor at $106,670. Taxpayer was asking $60,000, but presented no evidence to support that. I'll entertain a motion.
Do you agree with the assessors?
I do agree with the assessor. There's not a lot of documentation. This is a lot. It's actually about 17,000 square feet for the land and then another 18,000 for the parking lot, but still $3 a square foot, it seems reasonable. So, Mr. Chairman, I move that we set the fair market value of this property, BOE number 175 at $106,670.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next item is BOE number 176. Again, historic Dunbar School. No rent roll, no evidence to support their position. Just coming out and just saying, okay, we'd like to have something else. They're asking for 1.6 million. The assessor reduced it from 2,060,000. 60,000?
No, 860,000.
860,000. Get glasses on, I see. Down to $2,782,330.
Right.
No rent roll was presented. They asked me for a 7% cap rate. And income expenses for 2022, $128,222 according to them.
252. Right?
200 and what?
52. 128,252.
It could be, I've got 222, but yeah, it might be 252.
A year ago.
So, what say the board?
Well, again, as was brought up in the hearing, this is a highly subsidized property on the front end,
Senior center.
and on the operating end. Typically, they're only generating $205 of income or per month per unit, which remarkable in itself that it is that highly subsidized. I felt like due to that, it's very difficult not to, it's very difficult to accept their valuation when they have all that subsidy in it. I lean towards the assessor's valuation.
Yeah, and they lowered it almost 100,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I move that we set the fair market value of BOE number 176 at $2,782,330.
I'd second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Brings us to BOE number 173, which is account number ending in 2500. It's a Dick's Sporting Good at 142 North Penn. The assessor lowered it from 10,012 to 10,012,278 down to 8.6 million. It's across the street from Quail Springs Mall, and it was sold in April of 12. Is that right? Yeah.
Mhm.
For 12 million. I don't know what happened, at least in the judgment of the taxpayer. It's all the way down to 4,850,000. So anyway, what say the board?
I'm not, this one perplexes. The sales price is really not controlling here, is it?
Can I address?
Yeah, can
Yeah, I mean,
Go
I'll
ahead.
just give you an affidavit, but yeah.
Okay. These sale leasebacks or triple net leases that are signed on these things, they are very confusing, and this really both of these are good examples of why that can be a problem. I mean, you had two sporting goods stores that were very similar, well, actually the same company.
Yeah.
And you could see that there were two separate leases that were signed on those, that if you look at the income approach only on those things, there's a big difference between them. And, you know, we don't know that. We saw the sale on the other one, and that was a sale where the deed hadn't been signed yet. So, you know, I'm sure we were looking at it going, why do we have this disparity between these? So they make us crazy too on these sale leasebacks or these triple net lease sales or whatever, okay? Because that income lease that's in there. He did mention the buying the leasehold interest.
Yes.
And you know, he's right in that Oklahoma is a fee simple state, and that's what we try to do is estimate the market value based on the fee simple. So we do have to try to figure out what's going on with that lease, understanding that it is a long-term deal. They are buying the benefits of the long-term lease, and we're trying to equate that back to what would be a real market value based on this price per square foot of that lease now, okay? Which is what we try to do at $17 a foot, based on the lease that was provided. So I'm not sure if I'm answering your question right, but the thing about it is that they are difficult to try to come to a number to.
Okay, so if the sales price is, okay, we're talking about present value of future.
Yes.
And I understand that concept, but if we're not making the purchase price control unless we're doing a present value, then we can't criticize him for being so far off the purchase price.
No, and I agree, and that's why we did make an adjustment from where we were based
Right.
on what we
Right.
saw on the lease, because we're trying to look at the lease as what it says for this year, using a discount,
Right.
not a discounted cash flow, but a direct capitalization
Right.
approach. not trying to ascertain what they're doing with that, with the amount of that lease for the next 5 years.
And I'll be curious to see what happens with them next year. Yeah, you came down $1.4 million or thereabouts. From 10 down to 1.6. And 10 down to 8.6.
Yes, yes.
I guess he was willing to come up based upon, we were guesstimating a calculation of 1559, and that came to, I don't know if that was 7,931,000.
I think that's the number that we recalculated too.
Yeah. So
Now-
that was based on a figure that was in the lease, and is that valid, that 1550 a square foot lease rate?
I did not review the lease. All I heard was his statement, what he said the lease was, and our person looked at it and what her determination of where they were in the lease amount, which we will see. We will have people bring to us leases that say, well, you know, they're getting $14 a square foot, and we get into the lease and we'll find that, no, you're into your second or third term, and now the lease is $16 a foot. And so there's that,
Right.
that we have to look into. So I did not look at what he said versus what the lease said.
They're in a 5-year lease. Are they in the beginning of the 5-year lease?
I believe so. What Steve said earlier was, yeah, we're based, the hearing officer had the 2022, she marked them right here at the $17. And then the 1550, which he said that they were on right now, she had on for 2019. So I think she mistakenly, the lease was confusing to read and maybe didn't have she put 17 when it should have been 1550.
So for this year, it should be 1550.
According to him, yes.
And what's your opinion on that? 17?
I think that 1550 would be, if that's what it is, that's what we should be based off of this
Okay.
year.
Well, that was my contention after hearing the evidence produced. Yeah,
Since he was willing to do that, I'd come up and round it off at a flat 8 million.
I think that 69,000 or 68,600 is sort of a rounding error, so I could go with 8 million.
What about you, Pat?
What was the final result that you had?
The final result would be 7,931,000, and I would round it to 8 million.
Okay. 7,931,400
Right.
was the
At
per square foot at 15.
59.
So, yeah, that's a little, okay. So, what say the board on this?
I move that we set the fair market value of BOE number 173, correct? It's 173
Yes.
at 8 million.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And brings us to BOE number 174, that account number ending in 1005, 6601 Southwest 3rd Street. MDC Coast 21 LLC is the owner. The taxpayer agent presented no comps, no income. It sold in 2019 for 4.9 million. So, what say the board?
Well, he didn't come up with any dispute here on lease rate, square footage or anything, so I didn't have any reason to doubt the calculations made by the assessor on 174. I could go with their 6,208,814. They came down $1 million from, am I looking at this correct? Sorry.
Yeah, that's.
7 million,
right.
they went up. So you came down in the
In the informal?
in the informal?
Yeah, it was at $7,296,801, and we dropped it to $6,208,814.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going with the assessor for fair market value on 174 at $6,208,814.
I agree, there was no compelling evidence presented that would dispute the assessor's valuation. So, Mr. Chairman, on BOE number 174, I move that we set the fair market value at $6,208,814.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that brings us to BOE number 182. It's account number ending in 3820. It's 5505 Brookline Avenue. It's the H2O Apartments of Oklahoma City. And let's see,
This one, the question that you guys asked, that he did not answer, is if he were offered $6 million, would he take it? So, I realize they're stuck in litigation. And that litigation outcome could hurt him more than he seemed to wanna realize. So with a 93% occupancy, I saw no reason to back off your 8.5% cap. So I accept the assessor's valuation at $13,175,000.
I agree. It's, we have to look at this year to year. It's a single point in time, and at 93% occupancy, this property still has a value. Mr. Chairman, on BOE number 182, I move that we set the fair market value at $13,175,000.
Second.
all those in favor? Aye. Well, that's the end of the docket. Any comments from the board? When do we meet again?
Monday.
Monday?
Yes, and you will be here for a tax roll meeting at 9:30.
Okay.
So,
It's
Sure.
Thursday that we have 2 meetings.
Yes.
Thursday's excise.
Yeah.
correct, yes.
We'll have to finish equalization before excise, or if we're not finished, we'll have to recess, do excise, and then come back.
What is the standard procedure if for some reason equalization is not done prior to 10:30, which I highly anticipate it
Right.
will, but if for some reason it isn't,
You mean
based,
assessment? You did say that right, I'm sorry.
yeah, no, you're good. So we'll just do it right after. So, for example, like BOCC and PBA, they'll usually schedule those within 15 minutes of each other, but BOCC always runs over. They just do PBA right after. So there should be no issue, but it should be a decision day, so I doubt it will run to 10:30.
I just noticed we've got 6 on the first day for consideration. We're meeting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then
Decision day.
decision day, so we're gonna have a
Correct.
pretty full dock. Well, one of them only has one.
I was gonna say, so an update on that.
1-6.
So Monday, we only have one. My brain wasn't working this morning, so I sent out a weird email. So disregard, I totally messed up the packet. So, we will have one on Monday. I sent that.
Right.
We will have 6 on Tuesday.
What's the number on the Monday? Do you know?
Is
I
it,
think it's 183 if I
is it
remember right.
commercial?
It's
Do
the
you-
Sovereign Bank.
Correct, yes.
So do you guys not have the personal property stuff? You didn't have any of those?
I would have to check with Cindy. I have not heard of anything. I mean, have they filed
Yes,
it?
so I do have an update on that. So, like I said, we got 1 Monday, we got 6 Tuesday. We technically have 3 or 4 Wednesday. However, there has been a agreement, so we'll still need to meet so y'all can set that. And those might have been business personal. Now, I talked to Cindy, and she said they heard their last business personal informal. They sent out the decision for it, I think, a couple days ago.
Okay.
So we should be able to get it all before July 31st, if they even file, because usually they'll file those pretty quick. But and she is also informed them, hey, we kind of got to get these quick. But like happened last year, if for some reason they get it in statutorily and we're not able to get them in before the 31st, we can run past that deadline because they do have 15 days, just for the sake of due process. But we should be able to get it all in. There's no more that Cindy is hearing, so now we're just waiting on the people to file with us.
You guys done?
Yes, yes, yeah. The only one that we had any issue with was the guy that has a condominium, and we've bent over backwards to accommodate him. So it's up to whether or not he files with the board.
Yes.
Is that water free?
Yeah, he, I don't know what we're gonna do with him because, you know, normally we go with that 15-day deadline, but because this was a weird situation and we let him pass that, well, you know, it normally wouldn't be an issue, but he's just been stalling for like a month. And
Yeah.
if he's not careful, he's gonna miss the 31st.
And
But
that's not gonna be on
I mean,
anybody but him.
yeah, we'll address that one if we get to that situation, but.
Concerning Sovereign Bank next week, I know this is since we're just talking. I'm gonna listen to it on Monday, but I'm gonna recuse myself.
I don't think it's a bank. I think it's just a little office.
I would have to,
Oh, you're not gonna recuse?
I would have to look it up.
I don't. It's not a bank, is it?
Trying to bail out.
It could be. I'll have to look.
I
it
was
up.
thinking it was just a little office building on Sovereign Road down there on the southwest side of town.
Okay.
I don't
Okay,
think it's a
good.
bank.
Okay, well, good. I haven't read it yet, but if it's,
Yeah,
just have to be careful.
okay.
I
Understand,
didn't know
understand.
there was a dispute, got money all over it.
Well,
Any other
No,
comments?
I think, I move that we adjourn.
second.
All those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned.
Appreciate, letting